So how's it hanging, folks? And welcome back to the Game Boy Movie Fanatic 0129 channel. I am your host, Eric Graham, and today we will be talking about The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Episode 1 to be exact, which starts off with Sam getting ready to go to the funeral. Of course, it's Steve's funeral, and he has the shield as well, because if you see Endgame, Steve gave him the shield and basically gave him the mantle of Captain America. We then jump right into the action not Steve, Sam. Sam is basically hired to retrieve a army captain or army sergeant who got kidnapped by Batroc. Of course, you don't know who that is. That is the guy from the Winter Soldier, played by George St. Pierre. Of course, I thought they kind of threw him to the wayside, but he's back, and Falcon basically has to save this dude from him before crossing into the border of a country where he will get detected. And the action is wow, it's amazing. I mean, you got Falcon dodging missiles. It's like a dogfight. There's exploding helicopters. It is a lot. It's very thrilling. And on the ground, you have an army convoy following Falcon to make sure everything is a-okay and to back him up. But as I said, the action is insane. Yeah, of course, Falcon he succeeds. He gets the guy. Freaking Batroc escapes. Joy, and that's basically in the act sequence. And then we jump to Tunisia, where Sam is talking to this guy. Yeah. I'm kind of blanking on his name, but yeah, he was talking to this guy, and he was repairing Red Wing because Red Wing took damage during the battle scene, during the act scene at the beginning. So he fixed him, and then the guy tells him about the LAF, which is, I think it's led by Batroc. Yeah, and then he also talking about this new group called the Black Smashers, where basically they're this new terrorist group who came up after the blip, and talking about how they want a war without borders. Of course, that's kind of not a good thing, because what are they willing to do to get a war without borders? So Sam basically leaves, and they go to Washington D.C. They basically don't mind me. Yeah, so Sam leaves. He goes to Washington D.C. and Rhodey's there. I was expecting to see him, and Sam is giving a speech about Steve before he hand off the shield to the museum. And then Sam and Rhodey, they have a little heart to heart where Rhodey asks him why he didn't take up the mantle of Captain America, and Sam basically said, "It's like I'm not that well." I'm paraphrasing this. He says he's not exactly the white fit to be Captain America, but you know, I mean, he could be proven wrong. But then we jump to Bucky, who is at therapy, of course, But before we get to the scene where he's in therapy, we have an act sequence. It's a flashback where it's him as a Winter Soldier, and he's at this hotel, and he is killing a whole lot of people. And there's an innocent bystander who is trying to get away. his hand was shaking and all that. I'm like, oh, dude, this is not good for you. And Hell Hydra, pop, shoot homie in the head, done. Then he's in therapy talking about it. He's in therapy talking about it. Of course, therapist is like, you had a nightmare, right? Of course he didn't. But Bucky was playing it off like he didn't have a nightmare, but he had a nightmare, and pretty much had this tense back and forth between him and this therapist, telling him to open up and all that, and you know, Bucky ain't that type of guy. We then see him break up a fight between an elderly man and this young man, where they be having this fight about who putting trash in the other's trash can, and Bucky breaks that up. He takes the elderly man to lunch. The elderly man started talking about his son, and then you realize the guy in the flashback that Bucky killed, that was the elderly man's son, and Bucky was the reason why he befriended this man is because his guilt. Of course, in an earlier scene, we see Bucky hunting down people from Hydra. You think he's gonna kill this woman? Nope, he didn't kill her. He just let the cops come get her, and it's hilarious to watch it be like, you a part of my reconciliation, you know. And he give her this smile. I'm like, wow, Bucky. Oh, poor Bucky. Boy, you get used to killing folks. Kind of hard to shake it, but yeah. So back to the scene in the diner. Back in the scene in the diner, the elderly man sets up Bucky with the bartender, and you think, oh, Bucky might no show, but he doesn't. He actually goes on a date with her. They have, they were playing Battleship. Bucky's terrible at Battleship, by the way. It's like, ooh, that's bad. And then she mentions something, and he immediately thinks of the guy he killed. He goes to the elderly man to tell him. He doesn't, unsurprisingly, because guilt is pretty rough. And poor Bucky Barnes, ugh, it's all bad for him. But we jump from Bucky back to Sam, who is visiting his sister and his two nephews. And his sister and his sister has an argument over the boat that their parents own, and tell him how you can't all right, sorry, no, I'm sweating, so yeah, it's sweating, it's glistening. Don't pay that no mind. But back to Sam and his I'm about to say his daughter. No, Sam and his sister, they have an argument about what they should do with boat. Of course, she's struggling financially, so he decides we gonna try to get a loan for this the safeguard the boat, and it's pretty bad. There's one thing that they make mention of. It's like so they don't pay. They ain't no fund for heroes. They don't pay. Tony Stark didn't pay you. It's like and Sam basically said it don't work like that. You get a lot of goodwill, but you don't get no money out of it. They get denied the loan, and yep. But and yeah, they get denied the loan, and then I guess they go back home to let their rooms. Not before get a big surprise. Yeah, Sam gets a big surprise in the form of the government giving the shield to the U.S. agent, or as I like to call him, the fake Captain America, and that's basically the end of the episode. And I have to say, episode 1, I mean, pretty good. Pretty good. I'm very interested in what they're going to do with episode 2 next week. But yeah, that was episode 1 in a nutshell. And pretty, pretty terribly drawn nutshell. But hey, it is it in a nutshell and the conclusion of this video. And as always, like, comment, subscribe. And if you're new around here, well, have a nice rest of your day. And by the way, happy Friday. And Falcon win soldier. Thumbs up.